knocks one. Can he make this happen by himself? No chance. They're still on the ridge side. He has to fight uphill.
There are some who say he's the MVP of this lobby, but now's the time to prove it. Dropping the nade down, Scout trying to give that information over. A longer nade looks for the damage, but will not be able to find it. And in fact, it's Gil to get the kill onto Scout, so points denied there. Good technique, I suppose. In the smoke, No Chance team trying to go for the res. Gil gets spotted out the sidelines. It's King of Gamers to see him, and it will be finished off. Unfortunately, Orange Rock down in 6th.
It's still not a bad performance. We saw so many teams just go out instantly. 6 is not a bad place to go, especially when you were trapped in the shelter for the majority of the time. You were playing from basically a prison. No Chance Gaming, they're still going though. These guys are the prison guards, or the wardens of the map currently. But it's Team I&D who are sneaking up behind them.
10 kills for No Chance team right now, Blank, but 13 for Yoodo Gank. Heavy kill numbers coming through for these two teams. You can see Yoodo Gank there out on the eastern side of the circle. A No Chance team on the west, so diametrically opposed on this sloping hillside.
It feels like everyone has a chance into this game, and this is truly what World League action does look like. Every single team is terrifying. Yoodo Gank, though, they are currently the bogeyman of the lobby. They are on the top side, holding nice and strong. There's currently a few rocks towards the center, but do you have the vehicles remaining to even get there? I think it's going to be a bit of a sneaking game.
The tires are out on this buggy, but he's just moving it forwards, trying to give a little bit of a different setup of cover for Yoodo Gank. They spot out Team I&D.
Instant.
Oh, Slayer goes down under the vehicle, gets sprayed out by Drax. They're looking to finish it off as well. The vehicle gets exploded. And that's a lot of damage sent out to Snacks as well. They don't let him have any breathing room here. I&D eliminated. Brutal from Yoodo Gank.
Now Yoodo, no, they want to try and clear off No Chance team. They've been doing ridiculous amounts of work on the top side, and they have a knock now. Yoodo Gank can start to push in. Currently, No Chance team locked in a fight between them and King of Gamers. They get one knock. That will give some breathing room now.
Drax still spraying it down. I'm surprised he's still got ammunition left after that peppering, but he won't be able to rattle these shots off. No Chance team up the hill, trying to control the ground around them, but this is what we talked about with these shelter finishes. So barren.
The hill doesn't really provide much help either here. GXR Celts, though, with one player still in the circle, you can still hear the guns ringing out around the map. No one is safe. Everyone's taking shots at one another. There's an explosion from Yoodo Gank. One player goes down from No Chance Gaming, and another is knocked.
Just Godless alive in the grass, trying to hunker down, trying to hide it out. Don't think they're going to be able to get the res. Drax pops up, will be spotted by Godless. The nade comes out wide. I don't know if they caught that one, but Drax goes very low. I think he gets down, but there's the refrag. 18 kills found now, Rox. 3 players alive. No Chance eliminated.
Rox takes out the last player from King of Gamers and makes it into that number 2 spot. I doubt he can fight off against 3 players from Yoodo Gank, especially from the run they've had here, but damn, that's such a good game from GXR Celts.
They've had a great first game here. Now you just need to keep it on going. Yoodo Gank, however, they have had an absolute corker of a game, Blank. 18 kills so far. They're looking for that 19th, but one of them goes down. A sliver of HP left for Rox. There's actually Parang sending out wide. Not going to be allowing the heal just yet.
Another Rox!
1v1. Rox for GXR Celts. He could make it happen here. Very, very low HP. A single nade to do it, but he's getting the first aid off. Stimming up now. It's a 1 versus 1. Drax from Yoodo Gank with 6 kills. It's Rox with 4 kills for GXR Celts. The solo snake able to get all the way, but they're playing a standoff right now, Blank.
Drax is so afraid to even move out after he takes down 2 of his teammates. He's like, wow, this guy is not to be trifled with. Drax looking on the top side, just peeking out. Neither player wants to push before the other.
Tension building here. Information can be gathered from up the hill for Yoodo Gank. They know the Rockies behind will get pushed out. He goes out wide, goes for the spray, but he can't quite get it done. It was so close, but so break able to hold it out for box.
King of Gamers just observing the other solo player here on the other side. BTR though, all 4 members still alive. A Tanky just holding inside the shack. He will have to make the run soon if he wants to get in, but it's BTR. Zuxies, the forward scout. Yoodo, it's Jumper just moving back now. He's spotted out where these players are and going to start to regroup. Beautiful shots coming over the top from Jumper, and Zuxies forced back.
A team we haven't really talked about this game is Megastars out on the western side. They've got 2 kills so far. And they've been pretty quiet, but they have a really nice position here with 3 players alive. We'll see if they're able to leverage that for those placement points. Bigatron, 6 kills though, currently the highest kill team that is alive. That hasn't gone down yet.
Mega on the other side of the map, and they took an early knock, remember, from RQ, but they've ran with it, still able to make it happen. So the South Asian team's still in this one. Box currently just about in the blue now, and BTR mounting up, looking for a better position. Yoodo, they've dropped down the smokes, but they will have to move further into the circle here when the next one does drop. BTR move out. They have a little bit of a center area around the shack.
A tanky, not going to be as lucky as Rox from the last game. Eliminated in 5th, still decent finish. We'll see what they're able to do moving forwards, but Bigatron are going to start their move forwards. Luxy gets peppered, hits the deck. Not going to be enough. Encore able to land the shot, but Microboy suppressing fire over towards Yoodo. Box out in the zone as well. They're going to go for the heal off on the side of break. 4 teams remain.
BTR so low, and the shift goes over to Megastars. They're going to be happy with that one. Nade comes through, starts to blow up vehicles for Yoodo Gank, but they have a really defensible position, but both BTR and Yoodo Gank will have to leave. There could be a really good third-party situation here for Megastars as they both move in.
The Molotov behind the rock, going to keep them close on the angle, but it's not really going to bother them too much. Luxy's still down. They haven't managed to get that res off just yet. That is unfortunate, but Bigatron will be 4 strong. You can see they've got an open bit of ground to cover, and the Megastars can move forwards just a little bit. They don't want to leave that ridgeline just yet, but they can control it from the slow side of the circle.
Megastars have a ridiculously good position on the ridge side. I mean, they will have to start dropping smoke soon because they will have to leave this position. But if they get a lot of intel, a lot of information going forward, it will support them heavily as we head over into the next circle. As both these teams trying to make their way in. Luxy desperately trying to make the Raz across, and they're going to leave Jumper behind to prevent BTR from getting any further in, support the rest of the teammates moving.
Zuxi so low, not quite going down, but he does. He gets finished off. The vehicle blows up, and he blows himself up. That's so unfortunate. Jumper keeps going for Yoodo as 2 of them are down. 3 teams remain, but it's Box out in the zone, so it's really only 2 here, Blank. Yoodo versus the Megastars. 1 versus 1. Vexy looking for the res, but he swings out wide. It's Yoodo with Mamparang looking for the spray, but he can't quite get it done. 1 goes down, and Yoodo down to 1.
That is crazy. Jumper able to take down 3 players from BTR and survive. It was a decent bait from Yoodo Gank, or at least I thought it was, but the rest of the team aggressed onto Megastars. They were taking 2 fights at the same time. Jumper, basically the solo player. Break's still healing. This guy's got basically a box of medical supplies beside him.
He's looking for the hill. He's got another one. Okay, he's going to keep going. Yoodo Gank, though, they want to roll up towards Mamparang. Looking for the spray. Vexy very, very low. So is Jumper, and they tuck in. They have the third party from Encore, so he might just be able to get something done. Federal eliminated. Break still going. And whichever team goes down here is going to have a little bit of a sore wake-up call. But Yoodo Gank swing out wide, and it's Jumper to eliminate it. Break makes it to 2nd. A huge turn up there, but the Megastars are eliminated, and it is 2 chicken dinners in a row for Yoodo.
Orange Rock, they need to take care of also the teams in. Hacienda de Padron, great grenade coming out from Ryzen, will not result in a knockdown, unfortunately, but the second just might. And he will try and connect it. Scout going to pull off the res on himself. They're trying to fight back those grenades, those utility. But JCZ or Valdez still remaining alive, and because BTR going for the push, that might be his golden opportunity to get himself in circle.
Who knows? We'll have to wait and find out as Luxy sends himself forward. Grenade being cooked up by the man himself. In through the window, in through the door. Gonna see if it cooks up in time. No, it doesn't. Actually, it does indeed. Scout gets knocked down, but Ryzen from a distance gets also counter-knocked, and Skill comes in from the side of the building and knocks down Luxy.
People call Gil the MVP of this lobby in the World League East, and I think that title was definitely deserved, but now he's got to prove himself. Can he allow Orange Rock to remain alive? As here it is, Zuxi, he is going for the push. Gil got Viru back on his feet. They can try and aim for Scout too, but that might take a little bit too long as Zuxi's going to be cooking up his grenade. I think the angle's not going to be valid for him to actually get the knock, and that will indeed not be the case on the initial knockdown.
Like, how can you have 4 teams inside Hacienda on 2 separate fights, 1 on either side? It's absolutely incredible. Phase 7 closing in. BTR, Microboy goes for the sight, goes for the shots, but gets knocked down in return. And Zuxi, just trying to hold on as Ryzen on the edge of the tip, looks for Valdez, and down he goes.
Yoodo have a great third party on all this engagement. Got a little bit of engagement on also SUBCRIBE just a few seconds prior. And now they've got to try and end this fight. We've still got 4 teams remaining in this one, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be insane. It's going to be huge. Bigatron, they still got to push up. They lost 2 members already. Even now, Ryzen and Luxy are remaining. But still, now we've got this sharing position between Yoodo on the low ground and the rooftop over to T1. It's interesting to see, but who will take this game? Nobody knows right now.
And now Orange Rock are pinched between 2 teams outside the circle will actually make that 3 teams because T1 are still inside this game as BTR be fighting against the circle for the last couple of phases, but they pushed their way in. Sidon gets knocked down from Yoodo. Now the stalemate of that team fight between T1 and Yoodo might start to kick off in the next couple of seconds. Out comes in and gets it knocked down, tries to confirm the kill on the Horizon, but Luxy comes in and gets the job done, and down goes Orange Rock.
Luxy only needed 1 more bullet to get rid of Scout, and it was done successfully, but now the smoke's on the top of the roof for T1. They know they're going to have to drop down, but if they drop down, they would have the high ground advantage also. It's really depending on who responds in the better fashion. But the circle did move away from the position of Bigatron. It might be the case of, you know, Yoodo or also T1 getting rid of that team. There it is, the initial knockdowns will potentially come out. They've got to move away from that position. And Gyeonjun, the first dropping out that smoke ridge, is actually going to be helping him out to hold a different angle that could spell destination for Yoodo.
Yeah, indeed, and also Missile is going to look to throw out another smoke to give that level of protection to Youngoon, who's also proning behind a wall. But of course, where you see smoke, you can see grenade targeting, and that's exactly what Yoodo are trying to do. Sadin jumps out the window, but gets knocked down by Fredo.
That was a nice attempt, but unfortunately didn't get the damage out. Fredo, the man with the deadly smile and even more deadly weapons, is going to get a few nice knockdowns for himself. But here it is, the last member of Bigatron going to go for the push. ZZP's got to drop down eventually, but Bigatron, they do some work. Luxy, they might just go all the way. They might just steal this chicken dinner over here on Miramar Imperium. As it is, Ryzen just going to be chilling behind those rocks, and Yoodo trying to take control of this northern circle section.
Oh, Ryzen with the MK14s in the face of Yoodo as T1 get eliminated. We're down to these 2 teams. It is the World Champions against the winner of the first 2 games of the World League East Super Weekend Day 1 as a grenade from Luxy. He's going to have to try and survive. It's going to be 1v3. It's just too much, and it's 3 games in a row for Yoodo Gank.
It was just
walking past. Bullets inbound as Team Secret just trying to hold on. They're going to go inside the water. Valdez continuing on as the 3-man team. Box Gaming are going to be chunked by the blue zone 1 by 1 as the Helos just trying to come on through as the Reject Scarlet on the edge of the compound. They made their way down the hill. Team IND were staving off the pressure of BTR. Now they got to focus on Reject. They get 1 kill confirmed, but with Duello proning down along with Urala, going to go on the side of the building. Kratos, Trance, and Slayer are still inside.
Kratos was so low right there, but was able to just slowly and sneakily make his way out of that engagement. Mollies and Utility will be coming out in response of Team IND, but they got to go for the push. If they go outside, they got to be careful. Entrance is going to be on the other side of that building, and things could get a little bit more sweaty for this team. But Reject Scarlet, they know they're not going to get too overconfident. If I were there, I would not actually take the fight and wait for Team IND to cross over to go for the backstab.
And both these teams are outside the circle because the next fate did shift down the southeast as they're going to make their way down. Trant with the shot takes out Reject Scarlet, and that's going to be job done. They're on 5 kills. They're in the top 6. Team IND, they were saying to me that Trance was their secret player for Sanhok, and now they're going to continue on. We see BTR and Valdez on the side of the cliff side of this rock. Shots go through. Zuxi gets knocked.
They get things done. Bigatron struggling a little bit as T1 get eliminated. 5 teams still remaining in this lobby. Imperium on Sanhok, but Ryzen peeks his head, and there you go. Gets absolutely obliterated, and Bigatron will go out in that 5th position. Now 3 teams actually, who are now in 4th. I'm not even too sure. It's going to be actually King of Gamers Club, as now we have 3 teams. Team Secret, Team ID, and also Valdez the Murder.
Velmoth was like a moth to flames there against BTR, wiping them out. It is going to be 3v3v3 on the coastal line of this northwest island. It shifted back over to the west INDR. closest to the edge of the circle, but they're not inside the circle. And Valdez, they are inside the circle.
The main idea behind these kind of positions, right, is a Mexican standoff. For the intention that you want two teams to take a fight, and when that fight ends, or when it's already really well committed to, you want to go for the third party and try and attack these teams when they're already heavily hurt.
And even though it looks like Team IND are out in the open, there's a tiny little bit of downhill dip that they are using to their advantage. But of course, if you go a pixel out of place and you get spotted, you're gonna get punished. So you have to be very, very careful. And that's exactly what has happened to Slayer. He gets dropped to the floor. He gets confirmed. Kratos looks up. He's gonna get a knockdown. But that's gonna be the end of Team IND. They got the first push, and now it comes down to these two teams.
Team IND, they had the low ground. It will not work out for them on this Sanhok game. And now Team Secret had one member knocked away. That's gonna be Yuhai, turn into now a 3v2. And Valdez, they want this chicken dinner as a great grenade comes out. It's going to roll towards Armcho, puts him extremely low, but will not result in a knockdown as of yet, as that smoke will allow Yuhai to potentially get res back up himself. As Martin, I can see what you're doing, man. He's known as the flanker of the lobby, as he's going to try and swiftly make his way up north behind the team of Team Secret.
But these are two teams that have an ongoing rivalry, right? Matt Toy, a former Valdez the Murder, well, what was Illuminate the Murder team member. If they can claim this chicken dinner, if Team Secret can kick off their super weekend run with a victory over Valdez the Murder in this Sanhok game.
Yoodo, great angle right there, can peek it up, but Armjo, and he has the advantage of being able to peek left and right, whereas BB is going to be very straightforward. You can only peek up. And that could make things very easy for Armjo to get that knock for himself, but it still turned into now a 3v3. The res was able to come back indeed, but Team Secret, they're slowly pushing out the blue zone right behind them. And Armjo, if he seems that once again, that one pixel out of place, they can get a few nice bit of damage down.
Oh, but look at BB using and hugging this side of the cliffside. Gets a knockdown on the Harmony, but that's going to be a return clap back. The blue zone is pushing through. Yuhai comes in, he stands up, but he gets taken out by Valdez the Murder, who claimed this chicken dinner in Sanhok.
Valdez the Murder, known as like the third part
player I've commended. Celts in general have been very consistent. They're now in the top 9 once again. Can they get another top 5 finish? It would definitely spell very good things in the overall standings, because they do currently find themselves in 4th.
One win and they could get himself in 2nd position right behind you. I think that like any game could not just catch up to the 3 chicken dinners of Yoodo. That's almost impossible. But we'll have to see. But definitely I do think that a good attempt is possible for Celts. We'll have to see as he tries to rotate in. But now back on over to RRQ Athena. Still it was a 4-man team pushing on forward on the eastern side. But they get actually cornered up potentially by Bigatron very soon as they go over the dip. Bigatron could have a huge backstab opportunity on RRQ.
They've kind of given the high ground over to RRQ, and that could actually go against them. I'm a little bit surprised about that, because they would have heard the shots by BTR onto King of Gamers earlier on, and I'm all for playing for kind of late game, but don't give over an area that is actually quite valuable inside the circle.
There's also the edge, right? That means that if the circle moves away, which it potentially will, that means they're going to be having BTR going down here, and they could potentially pick them up. It's like, it's a double-edged sword in a way, so it really depends on how well they can pull off that middle position in the circle. As now also the last member, Rocks or Celts, will go down, and so will the entirety of their team. So that's 6 teams remaining in this game. Megastars trying to make their way through, but no way, Jose. There you have it. Losing a few extra. They still got 2 players, though, in the circle currently, which, no, having that 2-2 split did work out, but Yoodo go now in 6th, which is still a pretty good result overall for them.
It's not bad. It's a little bit...
It's 100 normally.
It is what it is. At the end of the day, they've gotten the job done in the first 3 games that they kind of, at least in these 5 games, can sit back and relax. But now, down on the dip, the grenade comes through from Microboy onto the knockdown of Swag. Gonna leave Encore on his own, on the side. But my lord, I just dropped my pen. That was so clean. BTR, they're on 4 kills, but what accuracy.
Micro boy, I mean, when you're downhill like that, grenade, just chuck it over, a little bit of a throw, and he's just going to slide his way through to the enemies.
You know what I picture with Microboy every time he throws a grenade? That beautiful smile on his face.
Beautiful smile. Oh, man. You shouldn't have told me that. Now I'm going to be daydreaming. But, yeah, so we talked about already the fact that RQ, they got themselves that position, and now that's actually come into effect what I was mentioning earlier, right? The double sword is actually going to be helping out a little bit RQ Athena, because now Bigatron, they got to go downhill.
Now, they can sweep down south, right? It could be risky, or they could in some ways sweep up north, but like you mentioned, it's definitely not easy for them. They're going to have to try and fight their way in. Do they have the utility? Do they have the smokes that they picked up from killing the likes of megastars, taking down King of Gamers. It's something that I'm sure they'll be looking to use should they have them, as Synergy are still inside this game as a two-man squad. Strider and Ted. Synergy, a team that we've definitely been impressed with throughout the World League so far. Now BTR now sweeping their way across. Gonna go from building to building, but actually avoiding that and going full sender.
Oh no! Bigatron, I'm sorry, but what was that? I mean, at least they have a car a little bit far forward so they can use that as like a mini compound, but still, that is not Stonks. That is definitely not working out. That was not a great investment. And now Ryzen still looking for an angle. He sees Synergy, he sees all of those utility, those smokes coming out. Ted is just going to be tumbling down, but he still has to make it even further. He needs to make it on the other side of the road to make it out alive. He's getting pressure down. Can he crash into that rock? He gets there, but unfortunately it will be a little bit too slow as Ted will get knocked away and actually falls to his doom.
Yeah, it's going to be the Synergy. They made a push, they made a call, but it didn't work out in the end. We're down to the last three teams. RRQ, Team IND and BTR, but the team that's outside the circle as the Blue Zone's making its way in on phase 6 is BTR. They alerted the attention of RRQ the second they started rotating in. They paid the price. They lost 2 members, and now they're pinched up.
Team IND, they activated almighty circle magnet and they got the circle in their favor. Phase 7 might also be the case, but RQ Athena, one thing for sure, they're gonna have to move away from that position and they might just get backstabbed by Bigatron, but Bigatron, they're in a lot of trouble right now. The Blue Zone on their tail. They have to move on forward with all of this smoke also coming out from RQ Athena. Might give them a little bit of protection. They do make it actually pretty far, but Ryzen will get knocked away and they're down to now only 1 member, but at least they make it in the circle.
Now there is a drop moving its way down that is close to the members of BTR, but as they did survive into the circle, they are going to get pinched by potentially the members of IND as well as RQ. Trance looking to cook up the grenades. They know exactly where RQ is. You say IND have been gifted the circle, but they've also earned it, getting 13 kills up until this point.
And they could pick up way more Imperium into this one. They could get up to 19 kills total if they get all of the frags in this lobby. But I like it. Ernie knows the Bigatron around there earlier, checking a bit of utility. They want to get really too involved. They don't want to take this fight head on, but they might just have to. They confirm Ryzen. Now down to only 1 player. That's going to be Lux. He did some great clutch plays, but this time will not be the case as Bigatron get eliminated in 3rd position. 2 teams now remaining. It will be a 4v4.
You do see the members of IND, they're split up on a 3v1. You see Snacks flanking his way around, might be able to look for the bodies of RQ. All 4 members of RQ close together. So on one hand, that is going to be firepower should they find a target. But when you look at eyes, when you look at positioning, Team IND kind of have the advantage.
One issue I'm having right now is the fact that they had so many smokes that they popped earlier in the fight versus Bigatron. They have maybe no more. If they do not, that might be actually the end prematurely for RQ Athena. If they still have a few though, they have to pop it up right now. Actually, that crate could be pretty helpful.
That's what he mentioned earlier on, that kind of RQ were kind of using to their advantage, but of course they got pushed on by RQ and the RQ have overtaken that spot. The side of the hill dip favouring Team IND a little bit, but it's also helping RQ. It's a little bit of a stave off. The circle on the phase 7 has shifted down south. Trance is outside the circle, but the other 3 members are in.
What I love of RQ Athena right now, they got a 2-2 split coming out, keeping 2 players on the high ground, 2 players on the lower ground to make sure that they're not going to get wrapped around and give the high ground over to Team IND. It makes a lot of sense. It's very smart. And Team IND now, they know that they can't push in. Trance was the one that was trying to pull off that rotation, but now he had to go back to the rest of his team. They want to take it as a 4-man squad.
If I was of RQ, maybe pull off a bit of a surprise.
Maybe a little bit of misinformation, but I do think the Team IND, they definitely do not want to breach this one, but the Snakes has been working out for RQ Athena, able to make their way slowly but surely over to the circle. Grenade coming out, will it connect a little bit on G9? Yes, will hit a little bit of damage, but now RQ, they are in range to try and fight back with the utility of their own Imperium, as it is a fight of rainbows and just grenades overall will be coming over these 2 teams.
RQ have the advantage. They're inside the circle, they're on the low ground. If IND are going to look for the bodies of RQ, they have to actually peek their heads further than the members of RQ. So really, this is RQ's game to lose.
And RQ Athena, so far they're in 6th position Imperium. They can try and get themselves in potentially 2nd position overall if they do really well. Their G9 was burning up a little bit because of that molly, but the fight just getting closer and closer. Phase 7 is about to close up and they go now over to phase 8 and the circle is actually going to go not back over to Team IND. The mighty magnet has no more effect. Imperium is going to go in favor of RQ Athena.
Snacks with the DP28 behind the US that's burnt out right now. Nice grenade by Slayer. This is where IND a little bit too bunched up together. They don't have the eyes, they don't have the information, and they are 1 or 2 grenades away from being exposed. I think that was smoke grenade being thrown out by Team IND to actually not distract, but actually take away visuals from RRQ. And now they throw out the Molotovs. This is very clever play.
I mean, they're just like chucking them everywhere, just like, hey, we want to try and cut off as much visibility away from the enemy team. They do not know where they are exactly, so they just got to just chuck random smokes in the open. As a nice spray from Slayer. Randomly chucked will get Ernie down on his knees, and now that's going to give the man an advantage over to Team IND. But they're not committing too heavily. They're not getting overconfident, which they absolutely love coming out from Team IND.
But Snacks gets taken out by D to either return knockdown at the final moments of this game is coming in front of our eyes. G9 with the knockdown on the trans. It becomes 2v3.
Team IND out to 2 players, but G9, he's not going to give them enough room to breathe. He's going for the push. He gets it done, but they still got 1 player lower down. And that's going to be Team IND Slayer can absolutely slay down, and there you have it. That was great plays. RRQ Athena will be your winners of the last game of the day. Great rotations, great predictions, and it